Mortal Kombat fans are wrong about lots of stuff, but it's not their fault because developers get stuff wrong too, like Sub-Zero being a ninja. He's not. Or sometimes they just change stuff, like Scarlet's entire origin. Today's video will cover some big misconceptions about the series, but if I miss anything, let me know in the comments. And before we get started, my last video got 2,000 likes, which means I gotta do 100 push-ups. Yeah, let's get to it. Even at 200% speed, this clip is pretty long, so I wanted to just narrate over the top of it. I started off really confident, but then around 30 or 35 push-ups, I just got gassed, man. I felt it immediately, so I had to take a break, and I cut out some of the in-betweens, but not too much because I feel like the whole point of doing 100 push-ups is to show the entire process of doing 100 push-ups, right? So I did my best to limit the editing here. I want you all to see what I'm going through. At one point, I take a banana break because it's important to load up on your energy, right, to get some food in there. In between, look at this, I'm doing little humps. I'm humping the ground right now, I'm making love to it because I promise I'm not using my knees. I never use my knees to get up. I'm just kind of using momentum as I sling myself off the ground because I'm getting tired. I'm absolutely knackered right now, as the British would say. I'm getting really tired. The hat fell off there, oh my god. And at the end, unfortunately, there is a tiny gap. I had to take like a 10-minute break or something to finish this session. I barely finished in the last two. I just, lay over, yep. Then I came back, bedroom doors open, hats off. I was finishing the last 20 here. I think I got to around 100. I lost count at one point, but it's gotta be at least close to 100. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. We're about done now. Oh, yeah, if that doesn't get me 2,000 likes today, I don't know what will. Please leave a like down below for that. First up, fatalities are not always canon. Too many fans act like, well, it happens during the fatality, so the character can just always do that. But no, sometimes fatalities are just for fun, like Cyrax blowing up the planet. That's not something the character can actually do, because blowing up the Earth would be nearly impossible. I don't think many of you watching realize the sheer amount of force required to blow up the planet. It's almost unfathomable, like beyond human imagining how much force you would need to destroy the Earth. So when Cyrax does this during a fatality, no, it's not canon. Cyrax can't just do that. And on that same note, where is he keeping all the bombs? Like, are they just rammed up in there? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, another example is Liu Kang's black hole summoning power. I'm not sure if he can actually do that canonically, because Kronika never did that, and she had control of the hourglass, so I don't see why Liu Kang can suddenly make black holes. Kronika did make pocket dimensions, but that's a different thing that is not fatal. Whereas Liu Kang straight up summons black holes, which is a completely different thing. And honestly, I'm not sure it's canon. Makes no sense to me. He was a fire god before, and then got powered up by the hourglass, I guess? NetherRealm never explains that, by the way. Why Liu Kang defeating Kronika and getting the hourglass suddenly makes him a different being. Oh yeah, Liu Kang also drops an arcade cabinet on people in the older games, which is hilarious and fantastic. I love the developers making that joke, but that's what it is, a joke. Very similar to Cyrax's ending. It's meant to make you laugh, because of course canonically Liu Kang can't summon arcade cabinets, especially not ones based on the universe he lives in. Now with all that said, this does beg the question, how do we know when fatalities are canon or just made up? Sometimes it does get difficult, which is why personally I consider most fatalities made up and not possible by the characters most of the time. Then I use my better judgment to decide if realistically the character is capable of that stuff. So for example, Sub-Zero freezing a dude and then shattering him makes perfect sense. But then you have Quan Chi doing this, and I don't think he can actually do this outside of fatalities. I think it's just meant to be funny, and also a little bit disturbing. Straight up creepypasta level stuff happening right now. Real quick, before going any further, I designed a new shirt. Check it out in the pinned comment if you want to order. Show off your love for fighting games while looking stylish, with a shirt covered in fighting game inputs of classic and modern games. I've been wanting to make new shirt designs for a while because my older designs feel a bit stale, but also I've got tons of new ideas that I want to share with people, so hopefully this new shirt looks cool. Obviously every purchase helps support my channel, so if you like this shirt or just want to support me, check out that pinned comment and buy yourself a shirt today. Alright, misconception number 2, and this one bothers bothers me. Scorpion is stronger than Sub-Zero. No, that's not true. At the very least, it's close and you're never sure who's gonna win. And that includes both Sub-Zeros, by the way. NetherRealm did a great job gaslighting people into thinking that Bi-Han is weak, when he's absolutely not. The guy went toe-to-toe with Fujin and got the dude to blow himself up by accident. At least I think it was on accident, because why would you blow yourself up on purpose? But the fact that Bi-Han went toe-to-toe with Fujin at all and wasn't instantly obliterated is a feat unto itself. And also, in that same game, he beat Scorpion twice. That's right, 2 different times, even after getting the Hellspawn powers. Yeah, that's right, Scorpion was already a Spectre, and in the Netherrealm, guess what? Still lost to Bi-Han, got clapped. It wasn't until match number 3 that Scorpion finally won, but even so, look at the scoreboard, okay? Scorpion's still losing here. Then next up is Kuai Liang, who is objectively stronger than Bi-Han. He clapped Scorpion in a fair fight straight up. Then afterwards, the two characters pretty much never fought until Mortal Kombat X, where Scorpion did technically win, but also Sub-Zero is clearly holding back and didn't want to fight Scorpion in the first place, so I don't really count that victory. In fact, almost every time Kuai Liang fights Scorpion, he's either holding back or not trying very hard. You get the idea. Fun fact, in the comics, we see what happens when Sub-Zero stops holding back against Scorpion, and it's downright terrifying. Scorpion only survived that fight because Kuai Liang snapped out of the mind control and was like, what have I done? And then Scorpion clapped him. It was unfortunate. However, even so, as a big Sub-Zero fan myself, I have to admit they're on similar level, alright? I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that Sub-Zero just wins every single time, because I just don't feel that way. In my mind, both these characters are pretty comparable in power level. I think in the Midway era, Sub-Zero was stronger because he had this talisman that made him even stronger. Anyways, my point is Scorpion is not stronger than Sub-Zero. People just want to say that because Scorpion's the most popular. Everyone loves Scorpion. I get it, he's on fire, he's got a skull for a face, he's really cool. But that doesn't mean you can just glaze him and pretend he's stronger than Sub-Zero. He's really not. It's either close or, honestly, Sub-Zero's a bit stronger. Even objectively, that's the fair opinion, because if you tally up the wins versus losses, Scorpion's got more losses against Sub-Zero than vice versa. But even so, I don't blame fans for thinking that Scorpion's stronger, because developers have Sub-Zero die or lose in every single trailer, and I don't get why. Just once, NetherRealm, one time, I want Sub-Zero to win in a trailer. Honestly, it doesn't even have to be against Scorpion. Literally anyone gives Sub-Zero a W. He always loses, and I'm tired of it. Alright, topic number 3. Sindel was not always evil. Even in the NetherRealm timeline, I think most Mortal Kombat fans are aware of the original Sindel versus the NetherRealm Sindel. However, some fans are still gaslit by NetherRealm into thinking that she was always Jared's killer and just covered it up. In other words, they think MK9 Sindel and MK11 Sindel are the same person, and that plan was always there by NetherRealm. Nope, that is not the case whatsoever. Even in MK9, and we know this, just check out her bio. You can see clear as day that Sindel's not evil, very similar to the classic games. She's been brainwashed, or maybe even corrupted, actually, because she kills Kitana in cold blood and is happy the entire time. So to keep things simple, NetherRealm just likes changing stuff for whatever reason, and MK11 had lots of stuff changed, which I find weird to this day because that was the finale. Alright, time for the final misconception. I had one more planned after this, but the video would be too long, I think. So instead, I'll end today's video on this. People misunderstand the Elder Gods, big time. And I'm not just talking fans, also game reviewers, game journalists, even just YouTubers who like to make fun of bad stories in video games, they get this wrong too. Lots of people seem to think the Elder Gods actively intervene in the affairs of mortals. But no, that's not what their job is, or their goal, really. Even poor Raiden doesn't understand this, which is sad because he's worked for them for like, what, 10,000 years or something? And he also seems to think that Elder Gods get involved when Earthrealm's in danger, or just when a realm's in danger, for example. But no, the Elder Gods don't actually care about that. Instead, their motives are much simpler and also make sense when you look into it a bit deeper. So allow me to explain real quick. Despite losing 2 Mortal Kombat tournaments back to back, Shao Kahn still invades Earthrealm, which of course upsets Raiden. He goes to the Elder Gods and says, yo, you gotta stop him, he's invading, and you're against that, right? But the Elder Gods do nothing nothing because they don't care about invasions per se, they only care when the realms get merged. And Raiden doesn't get that because merging realms leads to invasion, and he always assumed that's why the realms aren't supposed to get merged because it leads to invasion and senseless death. Which honestly is not a bad assumption, but it's not what the Elder Gods actually care about. In order to understand the Elder Gods, you have to understand the One Being, which most Mortal Kombat fans don't, especially the new fans, because the One Being hardly gets mentioned. And in the future, I want to make a full video about this character because it's super interesting. To keep things simple, the One Being is essentially God before all life began, and the Elder Gods split him into pieces, which in turn created all the different realms and also life itself. That's right, every living being in the Mortal Kombat universe is an extension of the One Being's existence. So in theory, if you merged all living things together, it would recreate the One Being because all life comes from him. Literally every living thing in the Mortal Kombat universe is a piece of the One Being. Along with the realms, they're also the One Being, and every time you merge a realm, you actually make the One Being more powerful, and in early games, it's revealed that the One Being is influencing Shao Kahn into merging the realms. He's a puppet without even knowing it. He thinks these ideas are his, but they're not actually. It's the One Being tricking him into merging the realms through conquest. And if Shao Kahn did succeed in merging all the realms, that would bring back the One Being, and he would most likely kill the Elder Gods immediately for what they did. And after that, all life becomes impossible, because as long as the One Being stays whole, life itself is impossible. He is the one living thing left, which is exactly what the Elder Gods are trying to prevent. They don't want the realms to get merged, and that's it. Period. End of story. And once you understand that, the Mortal Kombat 9 story makes a bit more sense. I wish developers explained this better, or even at all, because I don't think I learned this from the NetherRealm games. I had to do more research. But hey, now all of you watching know what the Elder Gods are actually about, and also the origin of the Mortal Kombat universe, so that's neat. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. It helps my channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.